Hello everyone, welcome to my first tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how I paint my galaxies. Just a disclaimer, if you hear any screaming in the background, I have two toddlers. The galaxy that I'm doing today is just a basic cool color galaxy with some silhouettes of mountains and trees. So first you will need your stone, and this one I have already painted black. Then you'll need your brushes, and here I have 4 regular brushes and 1 dotting tool. The first is just a regular tapered brush. It's seen better days, so now it's scraggly, but it's perfect for blending galaxies. The second one is just a regular semi-thin brush that I use to highlight the tops of galaxies and other small details. Now this is just a cheap old plastic brush. I'm pretty sure it's for children, but it makes perfect small stars using the splattering technique. Now my last brush is just a regular flat brush. I'm using this one for applying my extra fine glitter and my crystal glitter, but you can use any type of brush. Now my last tool is a small dotting tool, which I'll be using for the stars in the background. For my first color, I am using purple. I'm using my scraggly blending brush, and I am dabbing in a line going down to the bottom corner and then going up, blending the edges out with the black as I'm going. I like to dip my paintbrush in water and get off the excess water so it's just damp, and this makes it easier to blend the edges out, whereas doing it dry, it's a little bit more complicated. Now I will be going in with the blue, applying it to the top of the galaxy, blending downwards to give it a nice gradient effect from blue to purple. Now I'm just going to go back in with the purple and blue, filling in the empty spots with the same technique that I did on the center galaxy. And next I will be using Folk Arts Color Shift in the color Purple Flash. So you can see here's the bottle. I will be using this for the other empty spaces around the galaxy. It just gives, once it's sealed, it gives a more three-dimensional effect, especially when you're looking at it in different lightings and different positions. It kind of glimmers. It's really pretty. Now I will be taking my thinner brush and going in with a dark green and applying this to the top of the blue, blending down just as I was doing with the blue into the purple. Now for the last color of the galaxies, I'm using a lime green just to kind of highlight the top of the galaxy from the dark green into the light green. Now I'll be taking my cheap plastic hard brush and dipping it in the white and dabbing the excess off on the paper towel. You want to do this very lightly, because if you do it too harshly or abruptly, you'll leave big streaks of white paint, and doing it very lightly gives nice little stars. Now that that's all dry, I am going to be going in with Folk Arts Extreme Glitter in the color 2796E Hologram. Now I prefer to use a very thin layer. It looks a little bit milky once it's first applied, but it dries clear. For the last glitter part, I am using Deco Arts Craft Twinkles in Crystal, and I am just applying this to the tops of the galaxy to emphasize it more. I lost the cup, but so where you see the greens, that's where mostly I am applying it, blending down. Once the glitter is all dry, I will be going in with my silhouettes, and you can use just a regular black Posca pen, but I like to use regular black acrylic paint and a thin paintbrush for sealing reasons. First, I start on the basic outline of the mountains after I had chosen where exactly I want them. Then I am just doing thin lines upwards for the trees. I leave a good ½ inch, maybe less, space in between. Here I'm just fixing the outlines of my mountains and filling them in, as well as going across the bottom underneath the trees with the black. Now I am cleaning off my brush to make it a little bit more thin, and I am going in on the top to make it a little bit more pointy on each tree. And then for the branches, I start on the upward motion going down towards the center of the tree, and each branch below I make it a little bit longer than the one that's above it. To make the tree look less naked, I go in between each branch, making the trunk of the tree thicker as well as the branches. Now you can leave it just like this, but today I'm going to be going in with highlights with the color white. You can use silver, but today I'm just going to be using a basic white in my thin brush, and it's a little bit damp. And I start with the top of each mountain, outlining the top and going down, and then I blend it a little bit down, going into the black. It's okay if it's not perfect. And then with the access on it, I like to use it for the bumps and ridges on the mountains. When highlighting the trees, I dip it once in the white and I go across each branch until it eventually fades out to the bottom. I add a little bit of white to each tip, just so the tip of the tree doesn't disappear into the background. I go back and fix any highlights, and then I work down to the ground portion of the silhouette, and I highlight where there would be a ground. I usually just do like a scraggly little line across and blend it just so it shows where some light is hitting it. Then if you feel like your mountains are still a little bit naked, you can go in with more bumps and ridges, just applying little lines and blending as you go. Now for the shooting star, I use the same thin brush, and I apply a little dot and then flick behind it to leave the trail of the shooting star. And I go back to the front and make it a little bit thicker, and then I blend the outer edge of the front just to give it the glowing effect of a shooting star. Now going back in with the thin dotting tool, I'm adding a small dot to the front of the shooting star and then adding little dots all around just to give bigger stars. And this is fun because you can look up different types of constellations and do whatever design you want. And now you're done, and you can choose whatever type of sealer you prefer. I like to use Duraclear gloss varnish. I use 2 coats of that on each side, and then I use some UV resin. If this tutorial helped you, or if you liked watching me paint this galaxy, make sure to hit like and subscribe for future videos.